top composer of composers Dede Efendi. Friends, I am Dede Efendi. I am known as the most important composer of classical Turkish music. Would you like to learn more about my life story? I was born in 1778 in Sesirabasi, Istanbul. My father is Süleyman Aga and my mother is Rukai Hanım. When I was born, they gave me the name Ismail. My father used to run a hammam. That's why I later became known as Hammazaid Ismail Dede Efendi. At the school where I received my primary education, I became the chief hymnist because of my beautiful voice. I was very talented towards music. I started taking private lessons from Uncuzaid Mehmet Emin Efendi, the famous music expert of the period. I attended Mehmet Efendi's lessons for 7 years after primary school. Meanwhile, I was working to contribute to my family's living. In these years, started Yeni Kapı Mevlevi Hanisi in order to receive a higher musical education. After a while, I fulfilled my duties as a requirement of Mevlevi and gained the title of Dede. By the way, I learned how to blow the ney from Abdülbaki Nasir Dede. By the way, a song I composed aroused great curiosity about me in the music circles of Istanbul. My fame was also heard in the palace. Sultan Selim III, who was also a composer, invited me to the palace and listened to my song. He liked me so much. He wanted to include me among the palace singers. I was singing in the presence of the Sultan twice a week. Other days were spent in the Mevlevihan. Lots of people were coming here to listen to me. I married Nazlı Hanım, whom I met at the palace in 1802. Then I left the Durga. I moved into a house near the palace as a tenant. In 1808, Sultan Selim III's sultanate ended, so my duty in the palace was over. After Sultan Mehmet II resolved the political turmoil in the palace, I was taken back to the palace. This period was the brightest and most productive period of my artistic life. Between 1824 and 1839, I composed 7 Mevlevi rites. Farafiza, my 7th and last rite, which I composed upon the order of Mehmet II in 1839, is my most famous work. We were going to sing this rite in Besiktas Mevlevi Hanisi. Sultan Mehmet, who came to listen to the rite, was sick that day. However, after listening to me, he praised me by saying, "I'm glad I came, I'm almost healed." I kept my place in the palace during the reign of Sultan Abdülmecid. However, with Abdülmecid's ascension to the throne, the atmosphere in the palace also changed. In terms of music, Abdülmecid gave importance to Western culture and loved Western music. However, I was attached to classical Turkish music. During this period, my composing life entered a recession. I wasn't going to the palace unless it was an invitation. Although Sultan Abdulmasid was more interested in different types of music. He loved me very much and respected me. He greeted me nicely when I went to the palace. We were having a nice conversation. I learned that there was an empty mansion near the Blue Mosque. I wanted to buy this mansion, but Sultan Abdulmasid gifted me this mansion fully furnished. After that, I spent most of my life in this mansion. I gave music lessons to talented young people here. I invited my fans here. I grew up in one of the most depressed periods in Ottoman history. This was a time when traditions and innovation movements clashed. My music was also affected by it because I was brought up according to Mevlevi traditions, and I was a palace man. In those years I was not only interested with palace and Mevlevi music, but I also composed for the people of Istanbul. I composed songs and folk songs for the entertainment of the people of Istanbul. Do you know, guys, in the period I lived, the use of notes in music was not common. Music education was based on rote learning. I have composed nearly 500 compositions throughout my artistic life. However, only half of them are known. During my lifetime, other composers did not attach importance to raising students. But this was the subject I cared about the most. In this way, I transferred the works that I have memorized to my students. They also passed it on to their students. Here is my musical adventure, which started in the Mevlevi and continued in the Ottoman palace. Dear children, I've been passionate about music all my life. I recommend you to get a musical instrument and to deal with music. You will find that it is very enjoyable. If you work hard, you can achieve great success.